Welcome to today's webinars. Today's going to be a quick session. So we're going to introduce you some the development tools that we have made for the Corda development. So let's give a few minutes for people to joining in, and then we will get through our session quickly. All right. Again, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm today's host. My name is Peter. I'm one of the senior developer evangelists here at R3. So today we will be covering two development tools for writing your Corda. For today's session, compared to the previous ones, it's going to be a quick session. So if you have any Corda related questions, feel free to drop in the chat. After I covered the content today, I will actually look at the chat and then answer the questions there. Okay, right now is 3 minutes past the clock. I guess I'll begin. All right, so when people sign up for today's sessions, in the descriptions, it says we will basically show you two very two very handy tools that help you to basically develop your Corda applications. In the previous sessions, we have a whole 1 hour and 10 minutes covering how to write a Quotabinding, how you build your state, contract, and flow. And then we also show you how to basically write your Quotabinding. You're using the deploy nodes, and then you write your nodes. And in today's sessions, it's the first time we are doing these sessions. We are basically showing the tools that we have developed over the last year. So basically, is two tools. One is the plugins. You can put in the IntelliJ, which is the IDE that we suggested or recommended when you're working with CorDapp development. And the links I also shared in the chat. You can also just search it up on Google on JetBrains Marketplace. It just says Corda. It's pretty new, we don't have any votes yet. So if you like it, to make sure that you give us like 5 stars. Yeah, so once you click the install, and then it will actually install it into your IntelliJ. As you can see on my screen, that I'm just open a random samples that I find in the samples folder. And you can see that I just pick it up from the samples Java, right? The samples Java in the basic, the CorDapp example. So that's the one I have opened on my screen. So with this CorDapp, I loaded up in the IntelliJ's with the IntelliJ plugins on the right side, that it will automatically check for a few things. So it will check if we have the correct Java versions. If we have checked the Git, but it's optional. The Guido is also optional. The memory 16 GB is recommended. We recommend anything like larger than 8 GB, larger or equal to 8 GB. So if you have 8, sure, but if you have anything lower than 8, it might hurt the performance a little bit, because IntelliJ by itself is actually pretty resource heavy on running it. Okay, without further ado, I will actually, I guess I show you how to use it from the beginning. So I will actually stop my environment. You see, so if you look at this, then this is just a ordinary development screen when you opened up the IntelliJ. I open the IOU state. I can build some contract there, and then I can build my flows. I can write the test there. So all of these things. This is not building correctly again. Let me try this. Oh. Yeah, IntelliJ is sort of give me the wrong dependencies at the moment, but I can still run it. So let's look at the plugins. So if right now I click the first button, it will basically clean everything. Nodes are deploy or run. So let me actually stop node. So it says finish to stop all local nodes. Let me clean the project. Yes. And then boom, this is done. So basically what you are seeing here, the clean project is similar to in the terminal that you do. Okay, let me go to 4 samples Java basic CorDapp example. So basically, in the IntelliJ plugins, the clean project, if you double click on it, it's basically the same as you run through the W clean. It's doing that. So instead of running in the terminal with the plugins, you can basically just have it by double clicking on it, and then it will run the terminal. So you don't need to open the terminal. You don't need to jump back and forth between the terminal and then the IntelliJ anymore. And the second one is run the test. So this one will run all the tests all together by one click. So in the Corda 4 structures, there's the state test, there's the contract test, and then there's the flow test. And when you click this button, it will run all 3 type of tests. So you don't actually need to jump between the state test or contract test and then run them one by one. So it's basically, this tool is just helping you save pretty much some times over clicking around. And you can see there is running tests. And it's still running it. Right now it's running the flow test. You can see it from the bottom left. It's already done 9 tests, and then it's running the number 10 test, number 11 test, 12, 13, 14, done. So a total of 14 tests is basically run, and all of them is passed. You know, if one of them is failed, then it will actually red flag in the terminal. And as you can see, then my IntelliJ is sort of like acting funny because it's giving me compiler errors, but really it's just like some dependency issues with IntelliJ. I was messing with IntelliJ this afternoon, and then it's suddenly showing this. But I think when I do a refresh or clear the caches of the dependencies, like this issue will go away. But I'm not going to do it right now. And you can see when I run the test, since all of this is using the Gradle part, so this does not affect it. And then you can see it actually worked. So we don't have any issues running the test, even though the IntelliJ basically is telling us, okay, your code is not even gonna compile, but it does. So that's that. Next one is build a CorDapp. So this one is a simple and a quick one. So basically it's build your code into the binary jar and then place them into the build folder. There's a library folders where you're gonna find your jars. So that's your CorDapp jar. The next one is an interesting one. Is basically start going into the first step of running the samples locally in the mock network. If you double click on the deploy nodes, it will actually execute the Gradle command of Gradle deploy nodes. And this will actually build a folder that you are going to have all of your files, your Corda jar, Corda node jar, etc. in the folders. And as you can see, in the terminals, there's a party A, party B, and a node tree. It will take a minute or so. Since I'm live streaming, it might take a little bit longer. But just bear with me for it. Again, while my node is setting up, I will again share the link for people who just joined. So basically, you can get the IntelliJ plugins from the link I just shared. And it's basically save you the time before between the terminal and the IntelliJ, you jumping around, and then you can primarily most likely focusing in only one place, the IntelliJ. All right. Generating all the stuff, bootstrapping complete. It's running the schema migration script. So basically it's loading, setting up the database for the database schema for the node. And for everyone in the audience, if you have any questions, feel free to drop in the chat. All right, test execution finished, deployed. So that means all of our folders are ready. So we can see them by going to the build, in the node, and then we see our party A, party B, and then node tree. If we look at the CorDapp, there's a contract jar and then the workflow jar. So when that means we have all the files that we need to basically start our environment, and then just gonna down to the list. The next one is a run node. We're gonna double click on that. It will actually start the node in the terminals of IntelliJ. Originally, you know, without plugins, you gotta do it here, and then it's gonna prompt up the new 3 windows in that terminal. And we see the node A, party A, and then party B. Okay, all right. In these very simple examples, there are only 2 nodes and 1 node tree, and they are all starting right now. The next one is stop the node. Obviously, we're not gonna just like click that right now. We're gonna click that once we finish the demonstration. So next one is the one on the list is Run Node Explorer. So this one is a fairly interesting one because this is gonna go into talking about this, but this version of the Node Explorer is the standalone version. So I will actually explain the difference. So right now, let's just click on this one. So I click on the Run Node Explorer, and then you see something opened up, and then boom, you see on a browser that I have this Node Explorer opened up. So on the dashboard, I see that basically some information about my node, how many CorDapps I have. I have 1 contract, I have 1 workflow. The version of the node is 4.8.5, platform 8 version is 10, and then there are some network parameters on this network, and then I see the node tree, and it's non-validating. The whitelist contract not found yet because it's just a simple mock network. On the network, on this map, I see that my party B and then my party A. I see the key and the locations, and then the local host address. And for the settings, that's where basically where the CorDapp is at. We need to modify the path for that thing. So we need to go into the views, nodes, party A and CorDapp. So, and let's grab the path and then paste in, and then it should be updated. And then now is updated. We are looking at, we tell the Node Explorer, so which applications we are running. And right now, if we look at the vault, which is a node database, there's nothing, because that's right, we haven't actually do anything yet. So let's go back to the party A node, and then let's actually run transaction to party B. We are just simply issue a IOU. I owe you some money, right? State to the party B. And that will get executed and reflected in the database right here. So there you have it. So you're looking at the database. The borrower is party B, the lender is party A, and then the value is 15, which is exactly the transaction we just put into. You can see the contract, you can see the record time, you can see who is the notary. That's basically the data, and then you can do some filterings. You can filter whether it's IOU state, it's a consumed or it's unconsumed. You can click whether you want to see not relevant or relevant, meaning that are you the participant of the state. You can filter by different parties. So yes, so that's basically what you can do with a database. And then if we look at the transaction part, so this one is actually more interesting because you can actually look into the transactions of your what you just execute. And since we are doing issuance, so out of nowhere we are creating that transaction, so that's actually has no input. And then the command of the transaction is create, is also show up here. And then there's the output, is a IOU state. There's some those are the variables of your output with the IOU state. So yeah, so that's that. And then on the top right, there's an option of executing simple transactions. Right now, it's only it can only basically do the simple ones because it's only for the demonstration purpose. But we are thinking about making it more complicated, so you can actually have this functionality to have a more complex flow. For example, you can pass in a JSON, or you can pass in like string stuff other than string. So let's try to execute a transaction with the UI. So I'm gonna create another IOU with $20. Well, not dollars, like 20 unit, and the party is again party B. So I'm gonna click execute, and then boom, it's done. So let's see. So the first one is the 15 that I create, and then the second one is the 20. So that's just as simple as that. Okay. I think that's for the Node Explorer on the IntelliJ part. So I'm gonna just like close it. I'm gonna go back to here and then Control-C to shut it. And then I'm gonna clear down that. And then now I'm actually gonna run the stop nodes. So that's, you can see that will close the notary party A and the party B node, and then it's all go back to normal. Okay, One last thing on the IntelliJ plugins. So let me actually kill all. Okay. So one last thing that in the IntelliJ is basically is we are trying to populate a knowledge base for a good practice of coding a Corda. So, so in that case, we are offering the Quotabinding linting. So basically, we have a set of I wouldn't call it standard, but the practice of what we consider as good practice for coding a Corda. We put the rules in the IntelliJ plugins, and then we set it into the Corda linting functionalities. And I think it's actually frozen. So let me restart IntelliJ. See, right now upon start is checking all the stuff, and then now it's like it's showing valid. And I gotta do that. Okay, all right, just done re-indexing the whole project. So now let me click the Corda linting. No, it's still doing okay. Oh, no suspicious code found. Actually, that means this app is actually written into the good standard. Okay, then let me actually try to open a bad example. Let's see this one. So tutorial Apple step. So this one is written in Java. Oh yeah, okay, all right. Indexing, still doing it. Okay, all right. So now let's double click on Quotabinding. So these are some suggestions that basically our experience has been telling us. So first, let's see what's some of the suggestions. So with this one, the non-immutable fields in flow state should be declared final. So basically, it's telling us that we should call it final. So let me just quickly basically that's what we are suggesting. And if you see originally there were 5, but now there are only like 4. So you see those are the things that the Corda linting can help you to do. But again, those are just suggestions. So if you say, we don't want to do it, then really it's just suggestions. Those are recommendations. You as a developer, again, at the end of the day, have 100% authority to basically decide how you want your app to written. All right, so that's basically everything for the IntelliJ plugins. Again, you can search it up in the JetBeans marketplace. You just call Corda, and then you can find the one that Arthur is done by R3 LLC. then that's the one that's done by us. Okay, let me actually switch back to the CorDapp example because this one is already built. Let me see. Let me run the node. Real quick. Okay, it's doing that again. It's lagging again. So I gotta do that. Okay, my my IntelliJ is really not helping at right now. It won't even load the Gradle project. Okay. Okay. All right. But anyways, it's done its mission here. So I I can actually show the next thing, the standalone node explorer using I mean not the terminal, but run the node using the terminal. Okay. All right. So we are actually again still in the samples Java basic CorDapp example, and then if you do remember, we just create two transactions using one using the terminal, one using the IntelliJ node explorer. So now we are actually going into opened up the standalone Corda node explorer. So you can download them from the GitHub node explorer. You click here to release, and then it will start download automatically. So I will share the link there. And then you just install it. If you are Windows or Mac, or you are on like a Linux system, you can using the DEB file. So let me first run the nodes first. Okay, so 3 nodes, right? Party A, party B, and then the node tree. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, it's starting, and then you see the local connection address is 1006 for party A, 1009 for party B. And then I'm just gonna click the node explorer, the thing that I install. I use a DMG file because I'm on Mac, of course. So I can click that. It's gonna load a very nice looking screen for your standalone node explorer. And behind the scene is again the client server is running, and you see the UI is a little bit different because it's just packaged differently. So we're gonna put the local host because that's where your host name is at. RPC port is 1006. Username is the thing that you put in your build.gradle. But in our case, most likely it's user1 and then test, and I click connect. And there we are. We are inside of the node. So again, functionality is fairly the same, but it's just have a different UI. So we have the dashboard, we have the network map, we have the vault, look into the database, we have the settings, and again, you know, we got the modified folders again to put in the correct path for our app. So I just hit enter, I go back, you see setting updated successfully. And then if we go to the transactions, then you see the 2 transactions that we create, and then we can create another transaction here. So, you know, look at the dashboard, there are a few things that pick up. You know, functionality wise is really similar with what I showed you like 10 minutes ago. But with the standalone, it's just, you know, we have some new UI modifications. Look a little bit nicer, and then you can see the Corda red. So networks again, transactions, vault. You gotta see that you see the relevant, unconsumed. IOU state. You can select relevant or non-relevant. Transactions, I can create a new transactions. Factory IOU value, let's say like 48, and then select party B, execute. Flow created, done. And then if I go back, you see that's a third transaction. If I go to the database, that's a third state. So yeah, so that's basically the Node Explorer on the standalone. You know, personally, if you ask like what do I prefer, I actually prefer the standalone one, because that's actually make you feel like this is like a software, rather than you just opened up your browser and then you type in the localhost 13,000. Right, so it looks nicer, and the UI is just better. So that's I would prefer using when you're working with Node Explorer. Okay, so one thing I didn't get a chance to show you guys is actually the login with SSH. So that means if I have a remote node, I can actually put in the port and then the name and then the password to connect to that remote server. So that means the Node Explorer is not only for the local host, it can also use with SSH. All right, I think that's all the content I have for today. I actually have kept my eye on the chat. It's a quite quiet day today, so I don't see there's any questions in the chat. So I guess that will be it for today. All right. Thanks everyone for joining. I hope to see you at our next event. Thank you.